and I even made you a host, so we are good to go.
Perfect. Well, we're recording on my side then. I can always send you the link.
Okay, cool. I appreciate that. All right.
Wonderful.
Teamwork makes the dream work. So this is
Amen.
my yes. So without further ado, I'm very, very excited to our speaker for today, who is from Miami, North Miami Beach, Florida. She was, prior to our venture, she was active duty for 12 years in the U.S. Air Force. Yes, salute to that. That's amazing. Um, some things I didn't know about you. I mean, I knew a lot of stuff, but you joined Dream Trips in June 2010. You traveled 47 dream trips and 150 dream trips in the last 5 years alone.
Yeah.
Wow, that is truly amazing. I knew you did a lot of traveling, but when you put it in perspective, whoo, that's awesome. Replaced a 12-year income with the Air Force in only 18 months, which allowed her to retire 8 years early from active duty. 8 years earlier, is now in early retirement, which is truly amazing. She's an international trainer for the company, $100,000 earner. I mean, that's remarkable. She did all that while still serving for the U.S. Air Force. Truly remarkable. Like I said, people that weren't on before, she has a big, big heart. When I got to meet her in Florida, I knew she had a passion for helping others with fun, freedom, and fulfillment. But me getting to connect with her when she served as an ambassador, I truly, truly got to see what a great heart she is, a true leader, one of my mentors, Melanie Levitz. Thank you for being on the call. We are greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Ernesto. Wow, what an introduction. You hear the compliments and you think to yourself like, dang, I did all of that, because you're so much in the journey of life, and you're putting out the goals and you're accomplishing them, and then you're putting out more goals, and then you're like, you look back and you think to yourself, well, wait a second, I just did all of that. It's super cool, and I'm honored and privileged, Ernesto. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you to all of you guys on here. I know what a big part you guys play for our company, for our community, as bringing in unity for each other and just being there to support one another. If you guys, if somebody may have just hopped on and you're not sure what you're doing here, I'm not sure if this is everybody that's in the ambassador program, but the ambassador program with our company is the people that support our events, the people that are there helping new people or existing members, be informed of what is going on, and just knowing that, hey, you may be new to this company, but knowing that an ambassador, or knowing like one of us that has your back for a new person is huge. Because I don't know about you, but when I first joined the military, I was scared. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going into territory where I don't know what's going on. I'm going in and moving to another state or country for a lot of military folks, and you don't know anybody. So it's pretty scary to know that. And I think the ambassador program, you guys bring so much value. And I really want you guys to know from a leader standpoint that it's huge and it doesn't go unrecognized. So I applaud you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, the one thing, I had a couple ambassadors that on their time it's 2 a.m. and they didn't know until right now. I didn't tell anybody who was on the call until right now, and I just told them only thing I told them was that you were $100,000 earner with the company, and that you were an NMD, and I said you can't miss this call because you're gonna pour out, which I know you will, pour out to everybody. So I just want you to take the reins for a moment and just talk about your journey, because I know, because you were in Jersey and you got to train with us, I know some of your background and the time when you were active and still building this business, because a lot of people think they could build the business and go full time, but you did it on a part-time basis, which a lot of people, they think more time is more in your business. But here, I want you to just talk about the steps, how you did it, and your time frame, and because I know you have to balance all that. So I know that's huge, because a lot of people have a hard time balancing work and then balancing your, the business. So that's something I want you to talk about and elaborate on, and talk about your journey when you first started until, today.
Okay, absolutely. Well, first of all, I'm originally from Miami, Florida. My mother was born in Israel. My dad's from New York. And I kind of grew up learning what not to do. I was blessed to have both my parents as the black sheep of their family. I know you guys at least have one in yours. And I decided that after high school that I wanted to join the Air Force. I wanted to travel. I wanted to get an education. I wanted to remove myself from my surroundings and also just really be an inspiration for my siblings who were born 14 and 18 years after I was born. So huge gap difference. And when I joined the military, of course, you know, I got into school. I was able to travel, business trips, right? I'm blessed to have joined the Air Force to have some more luxury living accommodations. And 9.5 years ago, I was literally a student online. I was studying a foreign language, and my plan was to, at that time, at 28 years young, to stay in the military. I already had put in about 8 years, almost 9 years. And I wanted to retire 20 years with a higher pay grade. So I knew that going to school would allow me to become an officer in the military and retire with a higher pension. And little did I know, one of my officers, ironically, an acquaintance, a guy I didn't really know that well. We just saw each other out and about, and we were sister units. So I knew the people that he worked with, just had mutual friends. And he happened to come by chance, pick up a girlfriend of mine at my condo townhouse at the time and take her on a date. And when he was there, he happened to see another catalog from another company that I happened to ironically go to one of their parties, right? And I was just a customer, but he thought I was building this business. And he said, hey, I have something I want to show you. And he showed me Vacation Sooner. And I fell in love. 9.5 years ago, I saw the opportunity to travel for a lot less, you know, and you know, for me, that again, I joined the military to travel. So if you're showing me an opportunity to save on my vacations, I was all in. And he didn't actually ask me to get started. He called me, he came by the next day. He did 3-way phone calls, got some other mentors of his to share their story and answer any questions that I had. And they were the ones that actually said, are you ready to get started? And I said, yeah, I was ready to get started last night. And I joined right away. And my friend's like, well, you know, you're pretty smart. You know, do you want to make money with this? And I said, yeah, the business side's a no-brainer. You're telling me that I can get my 4 friends to get started and my monthly fees will be waived. And on top of that, I can make some extra income. I'm like, sure, you know. He's like, great. Well, how much do you want to make? And I asked him, I was like, I never was asked that question in my entire life. At 28 years young, how much money do you want to make? Like, I had that option. I didn't know I had that. And for me, it was, you know, I was living paycheck to paycheck at 28, and I literally grabbed my credit card out of the freezer and defrosted it out of an ice block to get started. No lie. It was practically maxed out, and I had just made a payment. And I said, I just want to pay off this credit card is what I want to do. And he's like, all right, let's go do it. And right away we started. I got my 4 in my very first month. I never paid a fee on the membership side. And little did I know, by, you know, he's like, well, come to the events with me and learn how to build this business. And at the time I was like, okay, cool. And I'm thinking in my head, like, I'm going to meet other people that are successful in this company, and they're going to introduce me to something that I can be successful at. I never thought, for at least 15 months, I never thought that this would be the vehicle that would allow me to retire by the age of 31. And took my first dream trip within a few months, called mom and said, hey, we're going on vacation, and I want to buy it for your birthday. And she laughed at me, and I laughed back. I was like, you have no idea, like, this is nothing, I can afford it. And little did I know, within like 18 months, Ernesto had mentioned, at a big event is when I realized, like, well, wait a second, I believed in the company, I believed in the people that, you know, I was working with, and I believed in the industry. The only thing that I was lacking for quite some time was the belief in myself, the belief that I was worthy enough to achieve financial abundance, the belief in myself that I could lead other people to financial freedom. And I say that because I grew up on food stamps and welfare. You know, we didn't have everything that was handed to us. We had to work hard to get what we wanted. And to know that, you know, where I am today, and to know where I came from, I know that this is possible for anybody. And it's just a matter of believing in yourself. And that's why we have such a great community. And that's why I love all of the ambassadors so much, because you guys are always there without question, being available for each other. And within less than 3 years, I was able to replace my entire 12-year Air Force Staff Sergeant pay income. And that's when I decided at the level of marketing director, which is an average income of $57,000 a year, according to our income disclosure statements, to make sure you check that out in your home office. And I realized, like I said, I replaced what I was making. So I was, doing this very part-time between lunch hours, between, going to sleep and waking up, during calls, on my way to and from work. I was even told at one time that I was a horrible dog mom because I would leave my dog at home all the time by himself. And now today, my dog is about to be 11 and he looks like he's, maybe 4, because we don't live that stress-free life. He went through a small period where, yeah, he had to stay at home a lot by himself, but that was because I was out creating financial abundance, residual income that is going to continuously pay people. I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody so we don't have any distractions. All right. And if you want to unmute yourself, you can still unmute yourself. And, now that dog, if he had a passport, he would have stamps in his passport. He's traveled more than most adult people. So life today, within 3 years, like I said, I replaced my income. Within 4 years, I made an annual 6-figure income. And by year 5, I became an international speaker, trainer, making multiple 6 figures. And, I'm just truly blessed to be a part of such greatness, especially during these difficult times of uncertainty and fear that the media and the news are broadcasting to people. And we together as a community, truly, I believe this company is heaven on earth. If you think about it, like, we get the time, we get the money, and we get to go travel at wholesale. Like, what gets better than that, right? So I'm just truly blessed. And, I know you want to ask some questions, Ernesto. We have some time for that. I just want to leave my story very short so we can make sure we cover your questions as well.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate that. It's funny that you talk about belief, because I know for a long time I was just like kind of in limbo. So I'm glad you did it, because that could be the breaking point from you going from one rank to another and just catapulting the business. So I'm glad you talked about that, because that is very, very huge. The one thing I wanted to ask you, a lot of people were asking me about right now in our time. I had talked to somebody earlier, and I'm glad you're connecting. This shows, one, that we are one big team, and out of all the time now, we need to come together as a WV family and be one big team. But right now, a lot of people are saying they're getting objections because people like, this is not the best time to get into business, traveling, nobody's traveling, but there's more to that. So I just want you to maybe, expand on what you're doing, and maybe some objections that overcome what people are saying that to, when they're trying to show the business.
Yeah, for sure. Well, objections is just a matter of people not believing in themselves right now. There's been times where people take up to 7 times or more to finally see and understand that they too can bring value to themselves and their family. So don't get attached to a no. Be grateful. Like, okay, a no is great, because now you know that they're not interested and you're not pressuring them. Because let's say they did say yes and they were really a no, and now you have to see, when somebody gets started is when our real job works. Our job is to make sure that they know what they're doing, that they have all the skills that are not necessarily required, but the tools that are necessary to enhance their business. So if they're like, you got to convince them, then you're going to have to convince them to get on a meeting. You're going to have to convince them to get on a call. You're going to have to convince them to get on a trip. And I'm not looking for those people, especially during these times. It's more like a conversation of, hey, I found a way to make some serious money online from home. Do you know anyone that could be of use of that information? And now it's like, it's an absolute yes, because people either themselves or they know somebody. So the objections for me is, okay, I God bless. I wish you the best, and move on, because there's so many people right now that are literally on their knees praying for something that they could do from home to make money. And now we have that vehicle. And yes, it's in the travel industry. And yes, people may not be traveling right now, but that's right now. This too shall pass. And as we are all still a part of this amazing club, we know that this will pass. And I don't know about you, but I bought my flights for a few trips coming out the rest of the year, because if I can get a trip, Kathy too, if I can get a flight from Fort Lauderdale to New Orleans for only $57 a month, this is an investment for us to do that, to be able to save on later on. And people more than ever are sitting at home thinking to themselves, man, I wish that we would have went on that one trip that we even committed to when we bailed out, and we would have experienced, the Las Vegas or Thailand, whatever your bucket list. And now people more than ever are sitting at home and they're thinking to themselves, once this is over, I'm going to go make that trip. And when we bring to the table for them to be able to make money and go at wholesale, it's a simple yes. So don't get don't get emotionally tied around the objections at this time, because I'm going through my entire phone list again. And there's over 2,500 phone numbers in there. So just go through the whole list again. People are in need. We're in different circumstances, and building through these times, I would say you're selfish for not picking up the phone and gifting this idea to somebody during these times.
Yes, true. 100% true. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Actually, I have my notes. I'm taking notes here. So, I wanted to ask you, a couple of people were asking me, and I also, what books would you encourage, or what books are you reading that helped you along the way in your journey?
Yes, someone has my book. Thanks, Tala. That's awesome. Yeah, definitely. Kathy's pulling it up. Persist Until Success Happens. You can actually go on my website at melanielevitz.com/shop, or even on Amazon. But if you order on Amazon, I can't sign it for you. So if you order through my site, I can sign it to you or to someone special. And there's so many great stories in that book. I personally wrote a chapter because it's a co-authored book, and it stands for PUSH, Persist Until Success Happens, and just going through the storms and knowing that after the storm clears, your gifts, your rewards are waiting for you. And my story is about the tides of life, how we go through situations and obstacles just as the ocean does, through currents and hurricanes, and so do we as people. And now more than ever, it's time for us to come together and be there and help each other, and always put out information for the media that can uplift each other. As far as other books, of course, the Bible is definitely one that I get into every day on my Bible plan on my app. Thank you for posting my site. I appreciate that, Kathy. And then also the one I listen to audios. Believe it or not, I'll show you what my bedroom looks like. I have so many books that I get into a book. Like, this is my nightstand right now. I have about 4 or 5 books and journals. But the one book that I'm really into right now and listening to the audio is Think and Grow Rich, for sure. For sure.
Yes,
Think and Grow Rich, absolutely. A classic. I mean, it's recommended by so many successful people. Another one that I'm reading right now is Building an Empire, right? This is huge. So many great, every page I'm like folding in here. Knowing your why, network marketing business versus your job, the hours. And you had mentioned that before, like doing this part-time. A lot of people think like, oh, it's going to take a 40 hour a week commitment. And it's really not that. I have a girlfriend of mine in the company. She's an IMD, and she did this while she was a nurse and a mother of 3. And we know nurses work a lot, right? And she was able to commit 7 hours a week and still hit IMD in 3 years with 7 hours a week. So those are a few books that I'm reading. There's another one on my nightstand is the entrepreneur roller coaster, and we were just talking about the 4-hour work week. So those are some powerful ones. I tend to get in a few at different times. Also, the greatest networker. And then I happened to pick up at the grocery store the Dead Sea Scrolls. So just a little bit of history, and of course, building fundamentals of our industry in network marketing.
Cool. I appreciate that. Melanie, I really appreciate you taking the time out. I'm not sure if there's anything else. We have a little bit of time left, if there's anything else. But I just want to say I really appreciate you taking the time out. I know you're extremely busy. Even though we're all home, I know you're busy working. I know I follow you. I see the work that you do. You know, I've followed you for a long time. I definitely look up to you. I appreciate everything you do. You've inspired me to do better. I just want to leave off with that and let you know that. And I always tell you that all the time. Me and Melanie talk a lot one-on-one, and I always reach out to her. She's very easy, guys. You want to reach out to her, just say hello. She's very, very always open, at least always gets back to me, and I appreciate you. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you so much for that, and I appreciate you getting on here.
For
You're
sure.
welcome.
The only thing I will leave you guys with is now is the time. You know, our team, we have created momentum even before our event in January called Momentum. And we're continuing to grow and explode from it. And now during these times more than ever, people are available. They're at home. They're not doing anything, and they're praying for something. It's up to us to reach out and let them know, hey, this is an opportunity that can help you right now. And with you guys already being ahead of the curve and having this knowledge and having the wisdom and having the people skills to be able to present. Oh, somebody's just coming in from Brazil. Hi, Brazil. And I'll tell you, now more than ever, you can rank up faster. We just had a guy on our team hit director in 3 months. 3 months. Wow. That's an average income of $27,000 a year. And it's because you can get the ignition kit. You can upgrade to that and be able to ignite yourself through the ranks with extra lineage credits that help you rank up faster. And by having 4 members only, you are able to utilize the Fast Pass and get an additional half a credit that will rank you up even more. So let's say your goal of hitting the next rank is 100 more people. Well, you take that number with the Fast Pass, with the ignition kit, and you divide it by 2.5, and it's not 100 people, it's that. What is 100 divided by 2.5? Anyone have their calculator out? It's like, what is it, 75? Is my math right? But
yeah, I get your point. Yeah, it's
what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
What does that number come out to? I'm curious.
I don't know. I didn't do it yet.
But my point is, you guys, is take action, massive action, because those that are going to do it now, we're the pioneers of our company. We're going to be able to inspire a lot of people around the world, and this company is going to be a legacy company to come through everything that we've come through, to be around for 14 years, to be a $4 billion company within 14 years. That is huge. Not to mention, we're still in the #1 industry in the world. 40 from 100 to 40. My numbers are way off. That's crazy. Now you see, that's like, nuts. I was sitting with one of our leaders, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm about 600 close to the next rank." I'm like, "No, you're not. You're closer." He did the math, and he's like, "Whoa, I'm like 240." Yeah, get your ignition kits. It's worth it. When the company promotes an event or a promotion and it helps you, this is your business. Invest in yourself. So you guys, I know we're running a minute short on time, but I just want you all to know that I value you. And as Ernesto said, always feel free to reach out. I will get to you guys as soon as possible. I always do get back, and thank you for your support. We're all in this together, and know that I have your back as much as I know you have mine.
Yes, I appreciate that. Also, we'll have the recording for the for you guys, but I'll also, Melanie, I know you do the women's Zoom calls all day. That's something that we really need to band together. I post that a lot to the girls. It's to the girls on my team, but it's, one big team, one big dream, and we're all here to help everybody out. So I'll definitely get that information across, and also I'll put your website on there as well to help everybody else out.
Perfect. Yeah.
it has truly been a pleasure. I really appreciate you, and thank you for doing this, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you, guys. Let's kick ass. I'll see you on the other side. And
See
stay
you. Have a
safe,
great day,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye.